Excellent. Okay, so here's the panel, here's the audience. I guess we'll start nice and simple, and maybe we'll start left and I'll pass and we'll go that way. But in your opinion, key success factors for branding, communication, marketing in the blockchain space?
Right. So I'm joining many crypto companies as a digital marketing advisor, and I can say that people are tired to be marketed to, and a modern consumer is literally overloaded. So in the 1970s, you would see about 500 brand messengers a day. Nowadays, how many do you think, guys? How many brand messengers do we see per day?
Per day?
Daniel?
Tens of thousands.
So it's about more than 5,000 brand messengers a day.
Nice.
So that's why if, let's say, I see a crypto commercial on a website, it doesn't make me want to invest in this crypto company, right?
Sure.
It makes me want to upgrade the system so I don't see any commercial at all. That's why we believe that the future of branding is personal. And nowadays, the personality as a brand, the personality of your CEO or the founder is much more important than the company itself. And I give you an example, as I'm sure you all know Pavel Durov, who is the founder of Telegram. So he has, much more followers on his own social media platforms than the Telegram itself. And it works for every single industry. Look at Elon Musk. He has 5 times more followers on his social media platforms than, let's say, Tesla itself.
That's a really good point. I was on a trip with a 3-time Grammy Award winner. He's a musician. And what I told him is develop your personal brand.
Exactly.
Because it will open up opportunities for whatever you touch in the future. Because most of us in this room are serial entrepreneurs and involved in multiple things.
Yes.
So if you just connected too much with your one entity, how does that give you room to continue growing? So it's a great point. What do you have to say to that?
Well, definitely it's an asset. Yeah, to have a characteristic personality in front of a company, and especially for startup companies, it makes the whole company tangible and sympathetic. Puts it in a positive light because it gives a face to the company. But there's a danger in it as well, because what happens when this person is leaving the company, or what happens if this person dies?
Or makes a serious mistake.
Or makes a serious mistake, or in private.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this has tremendous effects on the business. So I believe very strongly that even in personalized marketing, it is the personal branding effect is there. We have to make sure that the company can develop a profile, that it is not depending on the personal brand of a charismatic CEO, for instance. Because in the end, the company stands for products and or services, and people shall buy these products and services. So they have to understand why they should buy these products and services. And I believe strongly, nobody is buying a Tesla because he likes Elon Musk.
I do drive a Tesla because of Elon Musk.
And you have him
Tesla X.
And on the screen you have his face as a
like
coming
this,
picture.
This is getting a little too personal. Do we have a shrine of Elon Musk over there? Success factors, guys, gentlemen. What success factors do you add? So we've got personal brand, we've got company brand. What else do you think is essential?
In the early 90s, I met Don Peppers and Martha Rogers, and they had the one-to-one marketing book that they wrote so much before its time. And I think the dream is, at the end of the day, one-to-one marketing, where a brand or someone who has a need can have that need met by someone who's able to meet it. So at the end of the day, I think that's what we all want. If you think about there, you need something, you want something to meet that need. So for me, that's the bottom line. We're in the ad tech sector. We do things like measure and attribute and do all these things, but at the end of the day, we're building a blockchain platform to really throw all those terms out. Those are not things that meet a need directly, nor are they things that help someone who can meet a need target somebody who has that need. So, or match some, I hate that word targeting. But today we use words like targeting and attribution and measurement. That has nothing to do with meeting this need. And so I love the, if you've not read the book One-to-One Marketing or One-to-One Future, I think it's called, by Peppers and Rogers from 1993, I encourage you all to do it because I think it was way ahead of its time, and I think it's ultimately what we're all talking about, the nirvana we're searching for in our industry.
I think as well it's a mixture of different tasks. I think the personalization of the CEO is important, but there's a counter example. For instance, who is the CEO of Airbnb or the Airbnb? And that's a policy of the firm exactly to have no figure, just the brand and the services. So I think you have two types, and it has to fit, to suit to the company. And I think the most important is to have really a good and a true story, I think. And then you have to define what are the right measures, whether it's measurement, whether it's paid content, whether it's digital marketing, but you have to be a clear story. And it doesn't have to happen that when you are talking to an entrepreneur who has a good technology, but no business case. So that's lost. So a good storytelling.
I like that. Focus on the story and who delivers it, whether it's a company or the CEO or maybe customers, present the story better than either of those. José, thoughts on success?
Yeah, I would say the number one success factor is to be excellent. Because in this world of decreasing return on investment in the marketing space, you need to be excellent to survive. So this is the start. And I can tell you, because we are an 8-year-old company and we've never spent any $1 in marketing. It's all about being excellent and use this leverage to gain new customers from your actual customers. And this is the only way to survive in the future, I think.
I have a question because I am not a blockchain expert. I am enthusiastic about the conversation, but I have no application in the space. I do like the marketing space and the branding space. I think many of us here are active online and as you say, whether we like it or not, are engaging with brands all the time. But what does blockchain allow ad agencies and marketers and creative agencies to do that our current technologies don't? I'd love to know.
Maybe should I start? Because I just had a discussion half an hour ago exactly about that, and somebody told me a very interesting idea. I think it's quite valid. I mean, if you look at the marketing communication industry right now, it's an industry which is selling the attention of people.
Correct.
And the data of people, and making money with this. But it's actually the service or the value of these people. So what, from my point of view, what blockchain could contribute in the marketing sphere is to give people the control of their data and maybe even give them the opportunity to benefit from their data, from their awareness, from their network. And if you see, think of a decentralized positive marketing network of mankind, you could say.
Are you saying that data is not accessible right now?
That you decide. I mean, it starts with your personal data. That you decide who's using your personal data for marketing purposes. And when they do, maybe you can control it. You can say, okay, I allow this kind of marketing activities with my data. Then I get a small amount of the value which is generated by this in my wallet, for instance.
Okay. Breaux, you have a thought on this?
Yeah, we I guess 2 years ago, we built this large data pool called the Collective, which is in some ways it's a ledger. It's not open and it's not as open source as our project Exchange, but essentially it's the world's I think the world's largest data pool of mobile IDs and devices, completely anonymous. So we have companies like Starbucks and competitors, McDonald's and Starbucks or Nike and Adidas, all contributing insights on the data without knowing each other's customers or taking each other's customers. So it's great that they trust us, but I think I totally agree. I think ultimately the customer and the consumer should own their data, and we think but on the other hand, the brands and the advertisers still need a way to measure their performance, not even their spend. Let's say they go to zero marketing, they still need to know what those people want. So if their performance is meeting the need or being excellent, there needs to be feedback. And we think that the way to guarantee that feedback is accurate is using a distributed ledger that's cryptographically sealed or confirmed. I'm sure it could be done with a database as well, but we feel like this is the most secure and trustworthy way to do it, and scalable as well. So again, I totally agree, but I actually am even more biased on the consumer side. I really feel like it's going to be a pull-only world, that the consumer should have access to their needs being met without having to give up anything. I think that's kind of my nirvana. I don't want to have to tell people anything if I can have my needs met, ideally.
Okay.
Mention?
Yes, go ahead, please.
So I think blockchain as a technology is impossible to implement without all the other factors getting up to speed as artificial intelligence. And before, traditional marketing ranked targeted market by age, I don't know, location, gender, income, and so on and so forth. New digital marketing is about your interests, beliefs, and I don't know, your dreams. So that's what about. And as well as it's going to be personalized, and I would rather focus on today's trends as social media platforms and content marketing, create your own content, than just show me all the time the product, right? And video production, so companies invest crazy money on a video production nowadays. Chatbots, and so all these trends, we have to follow them.
For sure, absolutely. That's why I've got a vlogger creating video content right over there, because it is about video these days, isn't it? Sorry, the word trust has come up a few times today, and I think marketing, you think about what happened with Facebook recently, you think about a lot of scandals happen around trust and the break of trust, the breach of trust. What is the responsibility of ad agencies and creative groups that are here on this panel, and how do you create trust with your audience, especially in the crypto space?
Mm-hmm. Shall I start again? Just my personal point of view for this is that marketing should understand that it shouldn't exaggerate, that it shouldn't create artificial worlds of the marketing world. Things are attractive and relevant for the people. Yeah. And because I experienced that a lot of times in companies, that these worlds marketing are creating have nothing to do what's happening in this company. The values they are communicated there are different in the company. The quality is not that, and it's not so personal. And if you drift in these two different worlds, you cannot build trust. So actually, what you could do as a marketeer or a brander, you could help your client to understand that it is the substance of your company, the differences your company has compared to others, that these are the assets, and that we have to promote them, that we have to, I always say they are kind of truffle you have to find, and you can make them beautiful and make them shine, but don't create artificial things.
I agree with you.
And it always comes to the self-awareness and the Selbstbewusstsein. What does it mean in English? Self-confidence of a company. That you don't be irritated by the others. That you, as a marketeer, you don't say, well, your services are just generic. You need marketing to generate the brand. No, it's the completely other way around. It's a difference of your company, which you have to find out, which you have to work on, and this will create your brand.
Excellent. Jose, how do you build trust with customers?
How you build trust with customers? Well, I admire Tony Hsieh. When I launched my company 8 years ago, I read all the possible books for startups. And Tony Hsieh, the founder of Zappos, was one of my favorites because it's all about the wow effect. You know, you cannot differentiate your company anymore if you don't create a wow effect. So this is obviously related to trust. Inseparable. So you have to transmit trust, you have to be worth it, worth the confidence of your customers, and you have, this is the only way they will stay with you, first, the new generation particularly, and the only way they will talk about you.
I agree with you. I actually have a lot more questions to ask, but unfortunately, we've completely run out of time. Pascal, you want to say
just
something?
one thing, yeah,
and then we're going to end
for the trust. I think the trust is really important, and I think you really should deliver what you promise, and you don't have to overpromise. And we heard this morning the Minister of Economics talking about Crypto Valley. He was very grounded, and he would never dare to say Crypto Valley will disrupt Silicon Valley. That would never happen. And I think this is probably something which is happening here as well. And this is as well in our blockchain PR firm, Narwal. We have this Swiss finish, just to be sure that what we promise, we can deliver.
I love that. That's a good note to end on. We are about to go on a coffee break. All these people are available to you for conversation. So please do catch them outside if you have any questions about communication. Just so you know, we're going to talk about real estate, future trends, and about Crypto Valley when we come back for our last session. Thank you so much, and thank you to the panel.
Thank you.